Where do old aeroplanes go when the time comes to retire them from the sky? Almost 1 in 10 of them are flown to ECube Solutions in Wales, one of the world's fastest growing facilities for the recycling and stripping out of old aircraft.
Whatever the customer wants, we'll take off.
Every year, around 60 commercial airliners land at the company's designated airbase, and the lads just can't wait to get their hands on them.
All these planes, you just get to play with the biggest toy set in the world.
This squadron of high-vis heroes love to get their hands dirty and fly in the face of whatever problems are thrown at them.
Yeah, there's pressure. We cope with it, we thrive on it.
They join forces to take these old airliners to pieces so their thousands of mechanical components can be sold on to satisfy the growing global demand for refurbished plane parts.
Let's get them off the aircraft.
But it's a race against the clock to take these multi-million-pound planes to pieces before they reach their final destination, the scrapyard.
All these are ready to go now, so we're going to have the demolition boys are going to be coming in, and they're going to start smashing them up.
Join the lads as they battle hostile weather and get to grips with massive machinery.
I see them go down smoother, put it that way.
All to meet deadlines set by bullish buyers.
Money's time, time's money. And we're not talking peanuts here, we're talking millions.
Welcome to the world of the plane reclaimers.
So, good job then.
Yeah.
As the sun rises over St Athan in Wales, the plane reclaimers have a busy day ahead of them. Sam needs the team in on time, so there's no room for horsing about today.
We've got to keep an eye on the clock today. We've got loads and loads to do. We've got an aircraft coming in from Estonia, I believe it's from. So we need to go and get ready for that arrival and go and get on with everything else that we've got planned to do. I was wondering where you were. Where are we at? The top one we haven't done yet, because that's that.
The lads have turned up, but are they falling in line and following orders?
The general atmosphere here is very good. Everyone gets along. People take the mick out of each other, and it's just taken on the chin, and it's taken as a joke.
No matter where you go, there's always children, isn't there? Leave them and eat.
I can't fault this place for working. Everybody gets on well here. So we have a good bit of laugh and that, you know, a bit of mickey taking. You need that in somewhere to work, don't you? Have a laugh with everybody.
And it will be all smiles from the gang as they greet their latest guest, an Airbus from Estonia that's been taken out of service because the airline are upgrading their fleet. The plane is making the 1,700-mile journey from Tallinn, the Estonian capital. And she's been captained by Oleg Prokopets.
The plan for today is to ferry this lovely bird to her final destination, to the St Athan. In aviation, we used to say final. We never use the word last because it's a superstitious issue, but it's a final destination. But it's always sad to see the airplanes getting scrapped. So I guess it's a little bit sad moment for me.
There's no time to get too sentimental in the big money stakes of the plane reclaiming world. So it's back to business. The aircraft is only carrying 2 passengers. One of them is Valentin Ivanov. He's a representative of the owner, and this plane has a very special place in Valentin's affections.
This airframe has a special connection for me personally and for our company, because we actually took this airframe out from the desert in California, and we have actually restored its serviceability and airworthiness and have flown it back from the United States to Europe
After being dusted down from her time in the desert, the plane has gone on to fly tens of thousands of paying passengers and earned her keep for the airline. But now, Valentine's employers have decided the time has come to retire her and reuse any parts that can be harvested off into spares.
With help of companies like ECube, we can extract also life from parts, because some of the parts can be reused and should be reused.
After over 3 hours in the air, the plane breaks through the clouds and Oleg makes a visual on the base at St. Athan.
50, 40, 30, 20, retard, 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 retard.
70 knots.
It's a smooth touchdown and a fine swan song for this loyal bird. And for Oleg, as her captain, it's a moment tinged with sadness. Having flown many hours in her, it really is the last goodbye.
Outside navigation lights. It's like that's it. You see all the aircraft here, and you know what is their destiny, you know. And it's and you're arriving here with a live aircraft, and probably he's not gonna make it out of here. So it's a sad picture, as you can see, all these aircrafts waiting for to be scrapped. Yeah, it's feeling like a graveyard, you know. And it will take a little bit because the generator is still running, and then it will go black. That's it, my friend. It's been a blast.
With the plane parked on the runway, Sam and his trusty 50-ton tug are there to greet her.
Plan is now we're going to get it moved up towards the hangar. Look, it's an Airbus. We do loads of them here, so dead easy to move around. A lot easier than moving one of them jumbo jets there, 747s around. You just can't imagine the difference in them. It's like moving a little Matchbox car around. But there we go, so easy job this morning moving that.
Just like the man said, smooth operator Sam gets the plane towed in on record time, meaning Shippy can get straight on board to get her prepped for stripping.
We have a list of safeties, which is make the doors safe. That's the door disarmed. Depressurize all the hydraulic systems, drain the fuel tanks, so it's safe to work on.
If any fuel was left in the tanks, the sparks caused by the tools cutting the plane up could turn it into a fireball.
If we took it in with the full amount, it had 2.5 ton on of fuel. We don't want that in the hangar. It just makes life a little bit dangerous in there. So we try and get as much fuel off as we can.
Another critical bit of kit to make safe is the plane's emergency locator transmitter.
It's a transmitter. It'll send out a constant signal so people can locate it. That's one of the safeties we do, is make sure that's off. Otherwise, if that goes off while we're in here, we get a visit from the Coast Guard.
The age of the plane means that the lads are not sure exactly how many items of value can be stripped out of her to be sold on. The engines, however, are worth up to $5 million apiece and are sold immediately. How much the rest of the plane might be worth is a pressing question, but her tail is nipped off and the aircraft is rolled into the hangar, where that multi-million-dollar question can be answered by the lads. Just how much of value can they reclaim from her? Over in the warehouse, head of customer support Andrew has just taken a call for an unusual request.
Hello, Andrew speaking. Hello. Yeah, we keep safety equipment and that kind of thing here. That was a guy looking for a training aid for some diving instructors. They're looking for something that's fairly indestructible, that they can retrieve from the bottom of a flooded quarry. So cockpit voice recorders are fairly indestructible. Flight recorders, any black boxes, which we've got here from an aircraft that we can't reuse anyway. So it's ideal for what they're looking for.
The aircraft Andrew is referring to is another Airbus the lads are stripping and scrapping. Shippy is doing an itinerary of items on the plane to determine what can be sold on. Di Brown is about to find out if the flight recorder is one of them. But Shippy is keen to remind Di that the aircraft's emergency equipment needs to be handled with care.
Be careful, this is the one that's got the switch on it.
Okay.
Yeah, so don't flick the switch.
Okay.
It's off.
Yeah.
But don't switch that. Don't flick that switch.
Okay.
If it's armed, as soon as it's either activated or the plane does the unthinkable.
Yes.
Yeah, that'll start transmitting.
Right.
So they can find it.
Di spent over 30 years as a civilian engineer working on military jets, starting his career on this very base before taking his hard-earned expertise out to the Middle East. In a world of aviation technicians, this man's knowledge is encyclopedic.
Essentially details the operation of the aircraft, where it's going, where it's been, the details, altitude, speed, conversations between the pilot and crew. So quite an important piece of kit.
A black box actually consists of two boxes. One is placed in the cockpit to record conversations. The other, a data recorder storing a stream of flight information, is placed at the rear of the aircraft to improve its chances of survival on impact. Early flight recorders were painted black. Wisely, that colour was changed to orange to make them easier to locate.
You know, it grabs your attention and, of course, makes it easier to find the aeroplane, or at least find the beacon. They may not find the aeroplane, but they find the beacon. Hopefully, both together.
This one is destined to create quite a splash, more of which later. The Airbus has by now been stripped of all her reusable parts. She's now towed back out onto the lot so the teardown can begin in earnest. And it could be done in record time because a scrapping slot has suddenly become available.
Slot has become available for the Airbus. We're going to try and get that cut and stripped as fast as possible and get it off the yard.
The wings are the first thing to get cut off to make the plane a bit more wieldy. First, a web of cables has to be isolated and flaps removed before Perry can get stuck in with his angle grinder. Chicken controls the final phase with his favourite piece of hardware.
These wings, because they're a smaller aircraft, we're able to use the 12-ton forklift to take them off. It's a lot safer, it's a lot cleaner, it's a lot quieter, and I can put the wing exactly where I want to once it's off. I can just drive along with the forks and place it exactly where I need it to be.
Cutting the wings looks straightforward, but today there's a glitch that needs to be overcome.
Just caught on one of the interior pipes on the wing. The recip saw then just nipped the last little bit and it came off exactly how it should have.
Even though this plane looks in a sorry state, it's worth remembering that the engines and other parts mean her reclamation value still runs into millions of dollars, proving once again that these retired planes are far from scrap metal.
Hopefully by the end of the day, it'll have all its cages and sleepers underneath it. It'll be shored up and ready for gear removals tomorrow.
Chicken might be the base's master of destruction now, but in a previous incarnation, he got his hands dirty building things.
It's definitely something I never planned to do when I left school, I suppose. I mean, I did an apprenticeship when I was younger to fix them. I worked for probably just under 10 years in maintenance, so fixing them and putting them back in the skies. I came here to take them apart, and I was only here for 2 weeks, and then they offered me a job outside cutting them, and I haven't been back in the hangar since.
Chicken and the gang have to prepare around 5 planes a month for scrapping. As well as removing the wings to make them more manageable and able to fit in the yard, they have to make cuts along the fuselage. That means the planes break up easier.
We've got so much to do at the moment. Fair play, the boys are doing their bit and more, so hopefully we can keep the pace up now for this last week before the crushers turn up and take everything away.
As a new day gets underway, the wingless Airbus has left a trail of destruction in the form of an ever-growing mountain of scrap in her wake. Around 4 tons of it, which now awaits collection.
All this scrap that we have available at the moment, most of the time it gets out on tender, and this time it's on its way to Ipswich, the large recycling centre there.
Sacker Scrap Metal in Ipswich are one of the country's biggest recycling and processing plants, and they get everything from trains, planes and automobiles.
When it comes out the other end, you won't know it's a plane. At least now you can see remnants of an aeroplane. It's quite sad in a way. Crane operator has loaded the hopper with the aluminium from the aircraft, which is then dragged down into the shredding mill, basically.
The entire process is monitored every stage of the way by a network of CCTV cameras fitted in the machinery, all to ensure none of the machine's workings get damaged by any rogue pieces of metal.
Generally, aircraft alley isn't too bad to process because most of it is snipped up into reasonable sizes before we get it.
The aptly named metal shredder is so powerful it minces a family-style saloon car in under 60 seconds.
The material that is travelling up on the belt is the shredded aeroplane. So this will be everything. This will be the interior, the bits of wood, the plastic. Then the rest of the machine does the separation. This might look like a complicated process, but in actual fact, it's not a complicated process. The machine is run by one man, and the material is separated through technology, really.
It's not just metal that gets shredded. A series of sieves sorts out the metal from the muck, and it cascades out the other end.
This machine has cleaned it up, taken all the contaminants away. We end up now with a clean aluminium scrap. We directly export this to the Far East, which is then used in manufacturing to make other aluminium products. So this may well get made into an aluminium can, who knows? But it's quite high tensile aluminium, so there's a good chance it'll be made back into an aircraft. So somebody may well be flying in this again.
Airline seats. They come in all shapes and sizes. There's business, economy, first class. They recline, they lie flat. You can even get yourself a massage. But essentially, they all perform the same function. You sit on them. On the Airbus A320 that came in earlier, there are 180 beautifully crafted seats. Given the typical commercial airliner carries literally tens of millions of fare-paying passengers in its lifetime, seats take quite a hammering. It's no surprise then that there's a brisk trade for airline seats in good nick.
We've had all sorts of requests for business seats. Some of them are requests for them to go to a repair shop to go back on an aircraft. And we've had others for just office spaces, people who want to use these for reception areas, for waiting customers and that kind of thing, just to be a bit more quirky.
And if it's seats from a plane you need, there's only one man at ECube to remove them. Chicken, of course. It's the middle of winter, -5, and just before dawn, Chicken & Co have been charged with removing the seats from an Airbus A330.
The owner of the aircraft is trying to sell the whole aircraft and the interiors to a separate customer, but if that sort of falls through, then we've got another customer lined up for those seats, so we're going to loosen them out of the tracks, because if their sale falls through, we get able to get those seats straight out of the aircraft.
What's the gap there?
It's the wobble that throws me. God, it's colder in here than it is outside. Right, let's get some tools and lay down on some mouldy carpets. Enjoying life. Just part of the job, you just plod through it, yeah. Rough with a smooth. Some days it's -5, other days it's 25, so play it as it is. Allen key fit in there, lift those up. You've got anti-rattles at the front.
Plane seats fit securely into a track system. They're designed to withstand 16 Gs of impact and, as you would expect, are designed to stay fixed in place.
Some seats you can take out in no time at all. Other times, they're a struggle. Right, whoa.
Those bolts aren't playing ball, so Chicken needs to put his back into it.
It's just that it's not moving at the minute.
It's proving to be a real wrestle, even for these burly built boys.
Tell you what, there's some weight on them.
All of this exertion is enough to make a man hungry. Just as well they have their own breakfast club.
I have sausage, bacon, or sometimes if I'm feeling a bit flush, I'll have black pudding with that as well, with brown sauce. And I go for the baguette, because you've got to go big. The same as you, but
Sausage, bacon, black and brown.
Take a turn every week to buy the rounding, and it's just a little treat for the Fridays.
Phil's paid. You have a can of Coke, pack of fags.
Bottle of brandy.
Anybody want to give me a bit of hammer action?
I think we've done good progress. They're all out bar about 2 or 3 now. So I'm gonna go for breakfast in a minute. All right, happy days then. We're walking in now. Ciao.
The lads have earned their crust this morning, even if the reward does only come in the form of a piping hot breakfast roll. And looking at the way Chicken is devouring his, those jaws could be put to good use out on the scrapyard. Over in the warehouse, Andrew has met up with scuba diver Colin Rotherham. Colin is a diving instructor at a training facility based in an old quarry. The dank, dark waters are used to train divers in search and rescue techniques.
Don't want it to be too heavy, but it needs a little bit of weight, if that makes sense. Yeah. So, you know...
We can have a look and see if we can find anything in here for you.
Andrew is having a rummage around for any pieces of kit that might be helpful to Colin's students. He comes across just the object, fully disabled flight recorder that was removed from the Airbus.
How's that?
Yeah. So I take it this is the flight recorder?
Yes, yeah, it is.
Yeah? That's going to be perfect, that's ideal.
Yeah.
Good, thank you. Another
happy customer. They're taking this cockpit voice recorder now to their facility where they have a quarry with a sunken aircraft inside. And they're going to be using it for search and rescue training.
Find out later how Colin gets on. Like the majority of commercial airliners, the Airbus sports 3 sets of twin-wheel undercarriages, 2 at the base of each wing and the 3rd set under the nose, retracting after takeoff into the wheel wells for efficient aerodynamics. Along with the aircraft engines, landing gear is one of the most sought-after components during teardown. A buyer is waiting to take delivery of these, so time, as always, is of the essence. But to get the landing gear off means that the plane needs to be propped up. This is a potentially dangerous procedure.
What pain.
That requires some serious skills.
Back a bit, is it?
Cue Shippy and the lads as they construct a series of towers that will cradle the aircraft.
The other one's got to come down about that as well. I don't get anything on that.
There's now nothing holding the airframe. It sits on its own weight, so more supports need to be put in place to securely prop her up. But the lads need to get a move on because the Welsh weather is looking to cause mischief, as usual.
The wind started to get up, and it said there might be torrential downpours when they're on the radio this morning on the way in. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll get this done before the weather closes in.
Everything needs to be perfectly horizontal. Shippy is captain of this potentially dangerous operation and demands everyone fall into line.
Right. While we're doing this, guys, please don't be under the aircraft. OK? The job can be hazardous, but if it's done properly, them hazards can be kept to a minimum. And as long as people are aware of the hazards, they can deal with it.
Gas is pumped into the landing gear to raise the aircraft slowly. The supports come in and are lowered again onto the towers. Both sides must make contact at the same time. This is a tense and highly dangerous manoeuvre.
As you can see, they're starting to move now. Once we've got the weight onto the towers now, what we will do then is put some wing steadies on, especially now being critical with the wind getting up as well, so to stop any rolling motion.
The wing steadies need to be in place sharpish as the wind starts rising.
How far we've got to come there? I've got to go up, haven't we? Yeah, that's it. It's just a pad so it gives it some stiction. Some stiction. That's a shippyism.
And it's another well-fought victory for Shippy and the lads.
Right. Now, what we've got now, we've got the aircraft, all the weight is on the towers, and we've got the wing steadies in position. We'll call them what's left of the wing steadies.
With the plane on stilts, the real work of removing the landing gear can now begin. And it's back to basics for the lads, as they're using a mechanical device invented approximately 2,000 years ago, the block and tackle. This piece of ancient wizardry will help them lift and support the seriously weighty landing gear.
Whoa, the shim here, mate. Yeah, I don't want it landing on your head.
It's a precarious business.
There. I want that landing on your head. What? You're stuck. That's good, guys.
Stop.
Shippy is trying to use the winch to support the full weight of the landing gear. But they seem to be pulling in opposite directions and getting nowhere.
You're going up in a minute.
Oh,
what's going on there?
That's it. Okay. Try and keep him straight, I do.
Come on, Shippy, you can do it. The awkward shape and sheer weight makes it a highly dangerous procedure that requires intense concentration. But by working together, the lads get the winch working and doing its job. The landing gear is fully supported by the chains. Shippy locates this safety bolt position and can now set the landing gear free. It was a touch-and-go operation for a moment, but teamwork paid off, just as it always does. And it's good to see a smile on Shippy's face again. Over in the main hangar, it's time for the landing gear to get boxed up and shipped out to their new owner, who will thoroughly check and test them before they go back into service.
They're in position, they're level with the overhead crane, ready to take the wheels off and crate up.
As we've already seen, wise old hands like Shippy employ all sorts of chains, gears and electric motors to do the heavy lifting.
Putting the electric hoist onto the thing so we've got a bit more control when we bring the gears up and down, rather than using the chains all the time, which will be slow. People say, what do? You know, I think sort of lift up a little bit. I work on aircraft. I'm a technician on aircraft. No, I think it's a great job. Yeah, and this will just be boxed up, crated up, and then the logistics will log it in, and then it will be dispatched to the customer.
The landing gear could be worth up to $500,000, so it really is a piece of precious cargo. The once majestic Airbus A320, now devoid of engines, wings and landing gear, is about to say goodbye to its flight deck.
There's not a huge amount holding it on at the moment. We've got a small bit of floor structure, small bit of the crown, and then 5 points from where we've cut the frames underneath the floor.
Heavy-duty strops are lashed through the window cavities. Cuts will now be made to separate the cockpit and fuselage. Both can be sold on to the growing aviation salvage market, where savvy designers can turn them into everything from garden sheds to fitted wardrobes.
We'll cut the floor, we'll cut the crown, and then we'll jump out and nip the final frames in.
Cue angle grinder Ace Perry.
It might be a bit wobbly, but you're surprised how strong that floor is because it's composite. It's really strong.
So we got the 5 points left now, holding it on. Nip them, and hopefully she'll come away clean. Hopefully. Remember to put the ropes on now, please.
And that'll be it. Won't be long.
She's putting the guide ropes on now, just so that I've got control of the load when it does come away.
The final cut, and the plane should be free to separate.
All right, let's have a go then, is it? Let's jump
But as
out
the
the way.
moment of reckoning arrives, it looks like the plane isn't ready to come apart.
Take it up to about 1 ton, and we'll see if it moves.
There's a problem. So what could be causing a hold-up?
Hold the rope a minute where it is. Let me have a little look. I don't want it to flip if the weight comes off. If something's holding the flight deck or whatever sort of load that we're lifting is under stress and it does sort of pop, the load could then sort of go where I don't want it to go. I like to be in control of it. I want to know where it's going and where I wanted to put it. Little things as it starts to sort of break away, I like to get up there and make sure that we're 100% clear that everything's out of the way, and then we can move the lift when I'm happy then. It's a tie wrap.
It's one tiny plastic tie wrap holding the flight deck in place and endangering the whole operation.
All right, call him up. Okay. Right, you want the nose to face here so we can pick it up. But slowly, slowly.
Finally, she's airborne. The 1.2 tons of flight deck raised into the sky.
Here you are, Carl. Right, coming down. There we are.
And the Eagle has landed.
Nice job on the rope back. This will be coming off the yard probably within the next hour, out of the way, and blanked up, weatherproofed, and then off to its customer.
And who's that customer? Someone who wants to turn it into a garden shed. This is Dost Hill Quarry in the Midlands, an underwater training site headed by Colin Rotherham and Mike Smith, two experienced search and rescue divers, and proud owners of the flight recorder they collected from ECube a few days earlier.
I think the first thing to do is to make it buoyant, and then we'll just drop it down neutrally, drop down to depth, and then swim it out.
We're going to enter the water and we're going to locate the black box, which is actually orange.
Yeah.
We'll locate that in the rear of the fuselage of the plane as a training aid for future divers, as a search and recovery object.
Yeah.
An aircraft fuselage was sunk in the quarry 4 years ago. It's one of many wrecks that act as training aids for divers.
There's quite a few objects in the quarry. There's 3 or 4 vans, there's several boats in there at various depths. The main thing is the airplane, which is at the back of the quarry.
It does just loom out of the gloom. It just appears from sort of nowhere out of the green.
And there's some challenge in navigating between those objects and actually finding them, because it's actually a little more difficult than it might appear.
Mike and Colin get suited and flippered up to carry out their mission, planting the flight recorder in the sunken cockpit. The water may look inviting from above, but beneath it's anything but. It's all been designed as a murky underwater obstacle course. Working at depth and in the cold with poor visibility is the perfect training ground to try and seek out this crucial bit of kit.
I think it will be good, because future students that do search and recovery, they know what they're going for. It's okay just hiding something in the quarry, but is it real? Okay, if you say to your students, we're looking for the black box in the plane, search and recovery, do the plan, it's more realistic. Found the place right at the back in the corner. Managed to wedge it in there, locate it. Quite a good position for it, actually. You can sort of hide it for people to try and find. They'll have to look for it. Oh. Should be fun finding it. I've done quite a few things like search and recovery before, so I know how difficult it is. You know, you could be 6 feet away from that object and swim right by it.
I knew that they were orange, but to get an idea of exactly the shape and the size of it, it's definitely been very useful. You can see that orange and it very much almost glows.
Yeah. You wouldn't miss it if you stumbled right on top of it.
All further proof, if needed, that almost every part of an old plane can be put to good use. Chicken and his band of brothers successfully removed the cockpit from the fuselage. The Airbus A320 is now a shadow of its former self. Resembling the carcass of a beached whale, it lies ready for the crusher. The seats have gone on to be refurbished for a new plane. Cockpit is at the bottom of somebody's garden, and all that's left is for the main fuselage to be put to use. Chicken thought the fuselage was going to be scrapped. Those aviation salvage boys around the country, wow, they kept wanting more and more parts from the old Airbus.
I was under the impression that's all they wanted, but now my boss has decided to want all of the windows. They want as many or all if they can. So, being the guy I am, I like to get the job done. I've told my boss that I'll get every single one off for him, so let's hope for the best.
The request is for the window panels to be cut out for use as a design feature in a new hotel. But the job will be much easier to do on the ground. So the plan is to cut the upper section of the fuselage so it can be lowered to terra firma. It's a big undertaking and the crane has to be away in 2 hours, so the boys have skipped lunch just to crack on.
Cut across there. I'll start on the outside. Usually, I would imagine this would take us probably about a day, but we haven't got time for that. It's going to be just a case of start the saw and just cut away. It's hard to manage what needs to be done when it does, and then sometimes we get answers through and they've got to be rushed through as a high priority. So you've got to keep your sort of your head in the game.
4 windows, 1 on each corner, are removed for the crane strops. The pressure is on. With time running out, everyone is ready for the lift.
It's taken us about 20 minutes so far. Sides are cut, crowns cut, windows are out and strops are going through. So I think we're going well. I think we might even get a cup of tea in this afternoon.
It's the moment of truth as the crane takes the strain.
Happy there?
Yep. It's a proper man's job, I would say. It's very dirty, it's very loud, and I love it.
Go on then, drive. Have a go.
With the fuselage now straining to separate from the deck, all that's left to do is for Perry to move in and make what should be one final cut through the fuselage. Perry's cut a good one, but they're not out of the woods yet.
I should pop off!
All eyes are on the wind and whether it will cause the fuselage to swing. But the lads are in luck as it breaks free and sails through the air, much to the delight of a noticeably relieved Perry.
Where's it going, Jeff?
Anyway. That looks cool down here, man.
That was lovely, that was. Considering we were blind from the inside, that was very good. When it's on the floor, we'll cut them out then singly. But that went brilliant. Really happy with that. Excellent.
Back over in the yard, the first half of the fuselage may be gone, but there's no letting up for the lads. Not only have they skipped lunch, they've not even managed a cup of tea. The pressure is on to get this job finished by the end of the day.
3 o'clock, we've got 1 hour to get the rear section off. I think it's feasible, and I'm hoping that we get a nice tea break after this now. So, yeah, hopefully everything goes nice.
Everyone on the team knows exactly what's needed to pull this challenge off.
Strops are going up, OK? Just to take them out of the way of the cut line. Happy days. Let's go for it.
Chicken gets stuck in, and it looks as though he's going to set some sort of a record. But it's hard work, and they need plenty of rest breaks as they take it in turns to do the cutting. Chicken has certainly earned his rest. And with all the chopping done, it's time to lift out the cut fuselage.
Happy? If we're happy, we'll all jump down. There's no need to be up here then. Doon, please, Captain. Right, we'll put it next to where Adam just was.
I just want to cut them up and get rid of them. And get the new planes in, cut them up. So, in and out, that's our motto. Hold on a minute, I'm going to move it forward a bit, all right?
That has got to go a minute. It's going to go over there. Are we free? I can't see.
You get the feeling, if it wasn't a job, the lads would be doing this as a hobby.
That's it. That is definitely a day's work done. I don't care what the time is. And it's before 4 o'clock. Clear the flight deck and the other one, yeah?
There goes the final piece of fuselage flying majestically through the air. But the big question is, for all their crafty cuts and aerial acrobatics, have the lads met all of their tight deadlines? Stop the clock.
4:15. It's a new world record, I reckon. That's gone really, really well.
Excellent, can't ask for more than that. I preferred it like that. When your back's against the wall, that's when you start working a bit better then.
With all their jobs done in record time, there's only one thing on Perry's mind now.
Have a cup of tea.
The Airbus from Estonia that was rescued from the desert in America and went on to fly another day really has reached the end now. The lads on the base worked at breakneck speed to get the plane ready for a scrapping slot that had become unexpectedly available. And as the mechanical mashers move in, what's left of the plane gets torn to shreds, and Chicken can barely contain his glee.
I've seen them go down smoother, put it that way, but it's off, so, yeah. We've started, we finally started.
It may look like carnage, but there's method to this madness. Even though the planes are getting broken up, the skill is to make sure none of the ancillary equipment that's needed for reuse gets mashed up with them. And, as always, it's safety first.
It's happened in the past, minor damage to aircraft that we need to save because they're not ours. They're the customer still wants them here, and the cages and the acros have sometimes been damaged as well. So my role is to keep an eye on these and just make sure that things are going as they should be. I'm going to jump on the forklift a minute. I only go in there when the drivers can see me. If they can't, I'll beat my horn to make sure that they're aware. It's just to get the little things like the cages and the tail steadies out.
Now let's give it some to the wings. Then the bulk of the airframe.
It's very loud here at the moment. They've definitely got into it with everything they can. There's not a lot left of it. The front end and the rear end has all fallen off now. It's pretty much just the centre section with two little wing stubs poking out, and that's pretty much all that's left at the moment. I think it's, yeah, like boys and their toys. I mean, it's big, it's loud, it's dangerous. Most people would like to be driving the machines, I think, to be honest. First aircraft, which was right in the middle of the yard, has been removed off the sleepers. It's not damaged any of the aircraft or anything that we need to keep. And they'll chomp away at this now and then move on to the next 320 so we can get the new 320 in its place as soon as possible. Hopefully it'll be in the truck soon and it'll be off up country.
So the big question is, did Chicken and his crew set an on-site record?
As far as demolitions go, that was one of the fastest we've had. So on to the next one.